Art of Money Making, author P.T. Barnum. Book summary and important takeaways. Introduction. It is relatively easy to make money in the United States due to the ability of various vocational opportunities. Maintaining wealth is more difficult than earning it and requires proper management of one's finances. True economy involves making smart and effective spending decisions rather than simply trying to save small amounts of money in an effort to be frugal. Misconceptions about economy, such as the belief that it requires meanness or penny pinching, can lead to financial failure. Proper economy involves considering the long-term value of expenditures and investing in things that will bring long-term benefits rather than just trying to save money in the short term. Extravagance and irrational spending can lead to financial failure, while rational saving is more satisfying and effective in the long term. Tracking one's spending and categorizing it as either necessary or luxury expenses can help identify areas where money is being unnecessarily spent. It is important to avoid the temptation to try to keep up appearances or impress others with one's wealth, as this can lead to unnecessary spending and financial strain. Comparison with others and trying to prove one's worth or status can lead to financial mistakes and waste. True success and happiness do not come from material possessions or wealth, but from personal qualities and values such as honesty, integrity, and kindness. It is important to maintain good health in order to be successful and happy in life. Avoid harmful habits like smoking or drinking. Take care of the body through proper nutrition, exercise, and proper rest. Follow other health practices in order to maintain a healthy environment. The next chapter is Don't Mistake Your Vocation. The safest plan and the most sure of success for the young man starting in life is to select the vocation which is most congenial to his taste. We are all, no doubt, born for a wise purpose. Unless a man enters upon the vocation intended for him by nature and best suited to his peculiar genius, he cannot succeed. Next chapter, select the right location. It is equally important that you do not commence business where there are already enough to meet all demands in the same occupation. Next chapter, avoid debt. Debt can be a major burden and can have negative impacts on a person's self-respect and sense of self-worth. It is generally best to avoid getting into debt, especially for non-essential items like clothes and other consumables. However, it may be acceptable to get into debt for larger purchases, such as land, if it is done with care and with the intention of paying off the debt as soon as possible. It is important to be honest and responsible when it comes to debt and to pay it off as promised. Making excuses or getting into more debt to pay off existing debts only creates a deeper problem. When you have it mastering you, when interest is constantly piling up against you, it will keep you down in the worst kind of slavery. But let money work for you, and you have the most devoted servant in the world. Next chapter, persevere. It is important to cultivate determination, perseverance, and self-reliance in order to achieve success. Losing faith in oneself and relaxing one's effort can lead to missing out on opportunities for success. Seize opportunities when they arise, as they may not come again. Rely on oneself and make decisions confidently rather than being swayed by others or constantly seeking advice. Next chapter, whatever you do, do it with all your might. Fortune favors those who are brave and take action, rather than waiting for opportunities to turn up. Idleness and lack of effort can lead to poverty and bad habits. It is important to depend on your own personal efforts rather than relying on others or external factors. You need to have a thorough understanding of one's business in order to be successful. A combination of caution and boldness is necessary for success. Avoid working with or investing in unlucky people or places, as they may not be successful. Next chapter, don't get above your business. Excel in one's chosen profession or trade in order to secure abundant clientele and the wealth that follows. The motto Excelsior, meaning ever upward, is a good one to live by, as it encourages continuous improvement in the determination to succeed. In this country, a person's profession does not determine their status as a gentleman. As long as their business is legitimate, anyone can be a gentleman, regardless of their trade or occupation. Money is not worth anything unless you have earned it and understand its value through experience. Next chapter, learn something useful. Every man should make his son or daughter learn some useful trade or profession, so that in these days of changing fortunes of being rich today and poor tomorrow, they may have something tangible to fall back upon. This provision might save many persons from misery, who by some expected turn of fortune have lost all their means. Next chapter, let hope predominate but be not too visionary. Many people are always kept poor because they are too visionary. Every project looks to them like certain success, and therefore they keep changing from one business to another, always in hot water, always under the harrow. The plan of counting the chickens before they are hatched is an error of ancient date, but it does not seem to improve by age. Next chapter. Do not scatter your powers. Engage in one kind of business only, and stick to it faithfully until you succeed, or until your experience shows that you should abandon it. A constant hammering on one nail will generally drive it home at last, so that it can be clinched. When a man's undivided attention is centered on one object, his mind will constantly be suggesting improvements of value, which will escape him if his brain was occupied by a dozen different subjects at once. Many fortunes have slipped through a man's fingers because he was engaged in too many occupations at a time. There is a good sense in the old caution against having too many irons in the fire at once. Next chapter. Be systematic. Importance of being systematic in business and the value of punctuality and promptness. The passage also highlights the importance of finding a balance between being too systematic and not being systematic enough. It also emphasizes the importance of experience and the value of learning from others' experience to avoid common pitfalls and mistakes. We should all strive to excel in one's profession or trade in order to be successful and have a steady stream of business. Next chapter. Read the newspapers. Always take a trustworthy newspaper and thus keep thoroughly posted in regards to the transactions of the world. He who is without a newspaper is cut out from his species. In these days of telegraphs and steam, many important inventions and improvements in every branch of trade are being made, and he who doesn't consult the newspapers will soon find himself in his business left out in the cold. Next chapter. Beware of outside operations. Don't get scammed. For example, when someone says they can multiply your money if you send them an X amount. Next chapter. Don't endorse without security. In this chapter, he talks about being cautious when acting as a guarantor or endorser for somebody else's debts or financial obligations. Another highlight in this chapter is understanding the value of money through personal experience rather than receiving it too easily. This can help prevent reckless or irresponsible financial decisions, such as risky speculations. Finally, it suggests that those who work hard and make sacrifices to earn their first dollar will be better equipped to appreciate and manage their wealth. Next chapter. Advertise your business. Advertise in order to reach and inform the public about a product or service. The need for the advertised product or service to be of high quality and genuine in order to maintain customer satisfaction and loyalty, and the importance of consistently and persistently advertising in order to effectively reach the public and generate business. It is like planting seeds in that it requires patience and persistence in order to reap the benefits. Next chapter. Don't read the other side. There are potential benefits of unconventional or unexpected advertising methods, such as buying a high-priced ticket to an event as a way to draw attention to one's business. Next chapter. Be polite and kind to your customers. Politeness and civility are the best capital ever invested in business. The truth is, the more kind and liberal a man is, the more generous will be the clientele towards him. The man who gives the greatest amount of goods of a corresponding quality for the least sum, still reserving for himself a profit, will generally succeed best in the long run. Golden rule: as ye will that men should do to you, do ye also to them. Next chapter. Be charitable. The best kind of charity is to help those who are willing to help themselves. Don't fall into bad practices of giving a prayer instead of a potato and a benediction instead of bread to the hungry. It is easier to make Christians with a full stomach than empty. Next chapter. Don't blab. Some men have a foolish habit of telling their business secrets. If they make money, they like to tell their neighbors how it was done. Nothing is gained by this, and oftentimes much is lost. Say nothing about your profits, your hopes, your expectations, your intentions, and this should apply to letters as well as to conversations. Businessmen must write letters, but they should be careful what they put in them. If you're losing money, be specially cautious and not tell of it, or you will lose your reputation. Last chapter. Preserve your integrity. It is more precious than diamonds or rubies. The excess love of money, no doubt, may be and is the root of all evil, but money itself, when properly used, is not only a handy thing to have in the house, but affords the gratification of blessing our race by enabling its possessor to enlarge the scope of human happiness and human influence. A man who is known to be strictly honest may be ever so poor, but he has the purses of all the community at his disposal. For all know that if he promises to return what he borrows, he will never disappoint them. And as a mere matter of selfishness, therefore, if a man has no higher motive for being honest, and all will find that the maxim of Dr. Franklin can never fail to be true, that honesty is the best policy.